Now I want to briefly talk about a couple of extra things related to habit 3 that I think are important. When you put your different activities into quadrants, one of the things that I always or often see people do is that there's rarely anything in quadrant 3, maybe a little bit, but hardly anything in quadrant 4. And first of all, I think it's because most of the time when you're asked to make a list out of things, you only think about important things because those are the things that stick in your mind. But but I think that if we're honest, we're not all spending our time only on important things. When I look about at how I spend my days, far too often, there are many hours spent in things that really aren't contributing to my overall goals. That doesn't mean just sometimes we can't relax in quadrant 4 and watch Netflix or read or something else, but we just really have to keep track of how we're spending our time. Are we on the right road to get to where we want to get? And making sure that we're not leading irresponsible lives. We don't just feel out of control and like there's nothing we can do. The most proactive thing we can do is immediately start working on activities that are in those first 2 quadrants. So, how do we say no? I talk about this with the people a lot of times. How do we get to where we can still focus our most of our time and energy on only what's important to us at the beginning? The only place to get time for quadrant 2 activity is for quadrant to give up quadrant 3 and 4. You can't ignore the urgent and important activities of quadrant 1, although it will shrink as you spend more time in quadrant 2 as prevention and preparation. In quadrant 2, you have to decide what your highest priorities are. You have the courage to say no to other things. Remember that so often the enemy of the best is often the good. It's not to do certain things. That's good. It's good to relax. It's good to be out with friends. But we're not making sure that we're attending to some of those personal victories that take care of ourselves, like take care of our health, spend quiet time, then all of that stuff ends up rolling into quadrant 1. And then we can have health problems as well as mental problems. So when our health becomes a crisis, instead of that important time we've taken to keep our health good, then we can't keep contributing. Keep in mind that you are always saying no to something. If it isn't the urgent things in your life, it's probably the more fundamental, highly important things. Being able to say no to things require that your principles are deeply planted in your heart and mind. Without a principle center and a personal mission statement, you probably won't have the necessary foundation to sustain your efforts in this area. The way you spend your time is the result of the way you see your time and the way you really see your priorities. The way we spend our time tells others and ultimately tells ourselves what we truly value. Thank you.